Today we are taking a look at a concept for a Battlefield marketplace. Now let me start by saying the concept itself is not new. I have not made this concept up. It's been around in various guises in other games, and it's been a wanted feature in Battlefield by a lot of people. What I have done is I've put together a video that will culminate all the pros and cons, and even a small concept image of what it could potentially look like, in order to gain feedback for this potential feature. Before we start, a few things to point out. Firstly, I am using images from Battlefield 4 as a template for this. However, I feel it would be more suited as a feature for Battlefield Hardline, as it would fit into the style of the game a lot more, having custom skins on the guns. Secondly, this is not a finished concept. I am putting together ideas myself, and I'm going to ask you guys for input as well on what you think should and shouldn't be in if this feature was to ever arise. So you want to buy a new skin for your gun. Of course, you would head to the marketplace section of Battlelog. There you would be presented with a list of weapon types that you could choose from. For this example, I'm going to hit pistols and go to the Desert Eagle to see what's available to me. Now would probably be a good time to explain how this system would work. This is a community-driven system, or it would be if it would be in place. That means that community members or people who play Battlefield and want to design skins can do so, then upload them to the marketplace via an upload system. When on the marketplace, skins can be purchased for either in-game currency that is available in Hardline, for example, or real-world money. And there's two reasons why I've done it that way, one for each. Some people don't want to spend real money on a game they've paid full price for, and that is understandable. Some people want a shortcut, and they want to spend real money to get skins. This is the best of both worlds. When someone purchases a skin with real money, a cut of that goes to the creator of the skin. Also, a percentage should go to EA to keep the upkeep of the marketplace ticking over. Now, having a commerce system in place on Battlelog where people can exchange real money is not that simple. It would require a lot of work to set up, and obviously a lot of upkeep, which is why maybe as a first concept, the idea of simply having in-game currency would be the best idea. Then further down the line, when the marketplace had evolved and grown up a little bit, real-world money could be implemented. Now, I would suggest having a ranking system for the skins. So you would have basic, moderate, advanced, and elite skins, depending on how complicated they were and how complicated the design was. The best of the best skins, so the elite skins, would then be available as drops in battle packs, but not straight up drops. Let me explain. What would happen is you would open up a battle pack, you would then get an assignment to unlock this elite skin. This assignment could of course be anything, but it will probably be fairly difficult. So you don't actually get the skin given to you, but you get an opportunity to get the skin. I'm not quite sure how people would feel about this system, but it's just a suggestion on how I think these skins can enhance the game experience by giving people extra content and extra things to work towards. Right, so let's look at some pros and cons of having a marketplace, and let's start with the bad, let's start with the cons. First issue is a copyright issue. Of course, if people are creating custom content, there is also a worry that they could put something on the skins that they shouldn't. There is an obvious worry about using copyrighted images. There is also a worry about putting images that they shouldn't, i.e. graphic material. This obviously requires some people on EA or Visceral side, for example, who are actually administrating the market to ensure this issue isn't an issue. That of course costs money and time. Second issue, it will create a user-ran black market. Now this ties in with a couple of things. What this means is that people could offer skins to other people for real money, bypassing the entire market system and having almost a second marketplace. If you are familiar with CSGO, you will know that people swap skins, they trade skins, they sell them on PayPal, and this does cause some issues. Of course, if this is to happen, EA lose out on cash. Obviously, some of the cash of real-world money that I've suggested would go towards EA to keep up the upkeep of the market. Of course, as I also pointed out, the market would potentially start with no real money. And of course, that means that it would be an expense on EA's part to start with. People scammed. This goes hand in hand with the next one, which is private sales on PayPal. Somebody messages you on Battlelog and says, "Hey, I want your Deagle Spiral. I'll pay you £20 for it on PayPal. If you just trade it to me, that will be fantastic." You trade it to them, they don't give you the money, you're upset, you cry. There is a simple way potentially to avoid this by not having a trade system in the first place. So you can have a system where you can buy skins, but you can't actually trade them or sell them. But of course, that is going deeper into the market system. And lastly, would require lots of work and upkeep from EA and Visceral. As I've explained, there is a lot of issues potentially with a marketplace, and this requires people constantly adminning the system. It requires either built-in safeguards via the code, or human interaction to prevent some of these things from happening and reviewing certain situations. As I pointed out, this obviously costs money and it costs time, and it means that they would either have to hire new people or take people off other things to be able to manage this sort of system. Whether that's something they'd be willing to do, I don't know. So let's move on to the pros. It adds more depth to the game. Goes without saying that adding more skins and more content to the game improves the gameplay experience for some people. And I say some. Some people might see an extra skin, well that isn't going to improve my experience. Whereas some people on the other hand would disagree. That is obviously debatable. Next, it is a way for community members to showcase their talents. Of course, community members, we all know they're so very skilled. The modding community itself is vast for many games online, and a lot of them go on to become game developers. This would potentially be a way for them to showcase what they can do. Also, if there was a real-world money system in place, they can earn a little bit of money for it as well. Skins enable each player to have a different game experience. Now obviously I talk about game experience when having just that little bit of customization. The game itself isn't going to change. You aren't all of a sudden going to become better, or worse, or Conquest isn't going to change. But your game will feel a little bit different. You'll have weapons that maybe you like, and it'll be a little bit different from Joe Bloggs across the road from you. If that's something you're interested in, then that is a plus. Again, not everyone is interested in that. More unique / rare guns in the game. What this means is that potentially there is like this excitement that, oh, look at him, he's got that elite skin, that Dragon Lore. I haven't seen that in the game before. Potentially you could go up to it and you've killed him and you pick it up and you can have a look at it and go, wow, this is amazing. That is probably a good thing to have in the game. It gets some excitement going. And lastly, it could be a premium selling point if it was premium only. Now bear with me, I'm not telling them to make it premium only, but if we look at this objectively, if a system like this was in place, I would find it hard to believe that it wouldn't be a premium only feature. Now it's important to note that with all these pros and cons, I'm sure there are other cons, I'm sure there are other pros that I have not thought about. Do not take this as a culmination of every single one. I'm sure there are more that we can think about together. But let's move on now to what it would require to get something like this off the ground and keep it working. Again, there's probably a lot more to it than this, but I'm just going to highlight a few points. So the first thing would be the coding and design. They would have to design the entire interface and they'd have to code all the backend to get a marketplace system working and integrated with Battlelog. That's no mean feat. It takes a lot of man hours to get something like that in place and of course tested. Alongside that, you have to have an upload system. This system allows people to actually upload their creations to the Battlelog system so that they can be shared on the marketplace. All this needs to be integrated. Now, to go alongside that, of course, you need somewhere to store all these skin files. That means that EA must provide servers to store this on. Again, at extra cost. Maintaining the servers though shouldn't be too much of an issue. as they obviously have plenty of service for Battlelog and other game related activities anyway, so that should be something that would be fairly simple for them to provide. But of course, upkeep. The servers need to be upkept, the website needs to be upkept, it needs to be bug fixed, and various other things need to be addressed. You need to have people on hand to manage the system, to look for copyright and inappropriate content as well. So there is a lot of work keeping the system flowing. You also need a way for your designers to test their creations, a test range of sorts, where people can actually go into the game and actually test what they've made. Not quite sure how that would work, because obviously DICE don't allow mod tools. You know, that's something that's never been allowed, and so Visceral would be along the same lines. But if this was to survive, some way for people to test their skins in-game would have to be found. Then a commerce system. To start with, if we weren't using real money, this wouldn't be a necessity. But when real money did come into the equation, some way of adding money onto Battlelog or purchasing through Battlelog would need to be provided. That is something Battlelog doesn't have right now. Of course, EA does have their Origin system, so a way to purchase things is in place, but it would have to be somehow integrated into Battlelog. That would again take more money, take more time. And lastly, a CS-style view gun button. What I mean by this is in Counter-Strike, you can press a button, and what it does is it kind of swivels the gun around in your hand and puts it almost flat across your screen so you can see the beauty of your skin. Something like that I think would be worthwhile. I know it's a Counter-Strike feature, but if you're going to add designs into the game, it would be nice to have a feature where you can actually view them yourself in-game every now and again, just to remind yourself how cool you are. In conclusion, the eagle-eyed among you will notice that I haven't actually covered selling skins, i.e. I've got a skin that I've bought or that I found in a case, how do I sell it? The reason for that is that I would propose at the start that there was no reselling of skins. I think to keep things simple at the beginning, it would be worthwhile to just have people being able to buy skins for themselves, but not be able to resell them on the market until it is established and the system has been perfected. However, I do think that is something that would be required moving forward. As you can see, this is not a simple solution. You can't just say, put a marketplace on Visceral, put a marketplace on EA, and overnight it's in place. There is a lot of undertaking needed to set something like this up and keep it going. But I think overall the benefits could be quite profound, and I think it will enhance the game, especially on Battlefield Hardline. As I've covered before though, even though I'm using images from Battlefield 4, I do think this would be suitable only for Hardline. I don't see crazy skins really fitting into the Battlefield 4 experience. I want your thoughts though. This is an early concept, I've put some ideas together, and I've tried to put it into a concise video. But I want other people's thoughts, opinions, so that we can merge this into a proper idea and a proper concept. I hope you found this video useful, and please leave your comments below with your ideas, your thoughts, and I will then work towards a Concept 2.0 video, hopefully with some of those ideas integrated in it. Thanks for watching guys, and I hope to see you next time.